Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Good morning. It is Coffee Ann time here on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us Tuesday morning, May the 6th of the year 2025. I'm Joe Callahan. Across the table from me, Ed Carew from the Carew Investment Group. Good morning, Ed.
Morning.
Good morning to you. And Linda Tebow is here as well. Good morning to you there, Linda.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm great.
Excellent. And it has stopped raining at least for a little while.
It was raining when I drove in, though.
Yeah? Was it? Ah, okay.
It depended on, it's raining, it's not. It's raining, it's not.
I was looking at driving in, looking at the fog at the top of the trees.
Oh, wow. Deep fog coming
Yeah,
in.
so, okay. We're going to get into all the important things to get into, but even more important is Ed Carew, who's going to give us a first message from the Carew Investment Group.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Good morning, everyone. Ed Carew here of the Carew Investment Group, 2190 Mendon Road in Cumberland, Rhode Island. Our telephone number is 765-8880, and we focus on personalized investment management of client money using quality stocks and bonds and mutual funds. Our goal is to select quality investments that we expect to go up over time, not every day, but we do expect them to go up. If you'd like to speak with us, please give us a call at 765-8880, and we'll get you into the office within a day or two and see what we can do to help you. So give us a call at 765-8880 for an appointment with Better Money Management. Securities are offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
All right, Ed, very good. And Linda, I was reading Ed's weekly emails that he likes to send out to his clients, and we had the big April turnaround, Ed has put it, because back in March, the people were screaming, geez, the world's ending kind of thing. And then we had the April turnaround, and things balanced out.
Yeah, April turned out to be a good month.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good month.
See, I was waiting to see Ed today and get that news because I was told that, yes, we had a rebound and everything was looking better. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But we listened to Ed.
Yeah.
And now,
today, he agrees.
Oh, go ahead.
No, just another question. You don't believe the Feds are going to have a rate cut?
That's what I was going to say.
Oh, good. I'm glad I brought it up then.
I'm glad you did too. Absolutely not.
Okay. Now, are they meeting today, tomorrow?
Today and tomorrow.
Okay. And it's just going to say, we'll just leave everything where it is right now, okay? Mm-hmm. But it's still, we might see a rate cut later in the year.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. But no rate cut right now. What's the reason?
Unless there's a rate hike later.
Okay. What's the reasoning behind not doing a rate cut now? Would that throw things into a tizzy?
Because too much uncertainty.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Too much, you don't know what the tariffs will do. You don't know if business is going to slow or if it's going to stay as it's been. Earnings season is what we're in now, and 70% of the companies have reported earnings of the S&P 500 companies. 70% have reported so far, and out of those 70%, 80% have reported better than expected earnings. So,
right.
things so far have been better than people have been expecting, and that is part of the reason why the month of April turned out to be good, because we were into like the third week of
Are they buying because they're buying before the tariffs kick in, or
What,
like I knew somebody that said, "Oh, I bought a car." She bought a car because
worried about tariffs.
Yeah. There's some of that. Definitely, there's some of that. People are buying
or
what
phones
they
or
think
whatever,
is going to
right?
cost more.
Going forward.
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, okay then. So everything. So basically, everything's a-okay right now.
Everything is as good as it can be right now in an uncertain period when you never know what's going to come out of someone's mouth.
Right. What's next? Right.
Right.
Wait a minute.
I think was it last week that that Trump came out and said, "No, I'm not going to fire Jerome Powell."
That was last week.
It was last week.
And wait till tomorrow when he comes out and says we're not cutting interest rates. He'll be ready to
on
fire him on Thursday.
Again. Well, okay.
Or if he even waits till Thursday, it might be right on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
I know he thinks he's doing, or Trump thinks he's doing an okay job, but I've heard him a few times say, "I wish he did better," but I don't know how he could do things better because maybe you would know, Ed, but do you think Jerome Powell's doing the job
Jerome
he's doing?
Powell?
Is fine? Have I got the wrong guy?
No, you get the right
Oh,
guy. I
okay,
didn't
yeah.
know if you were talking about
No, not
Jerome
Trump.
Powell or Trump.
Powell is his job. Is he doing everything he should be doing?
Yeah, he's doing good.
Yeah.
He's doing good. You know, he's got his job is two phases: interest rates
Yeah.
and jobs. It's a dual mandate, as they call it. You know, it's to control interest rates and to control interest rates to keep the economy doing well and stuff like that, and not have a lot of inflation, and that's why they raised rates so high last year and the year before, because inflation was going up and up and up, and it reached like 9% or something from zero.
Yeah.
You know, so it's in right now. It's around 3%, give or take a little, 0.5%, one way or the other. So that's one of it, and the other one is job creation, and the unemployment rate is in the 4 to 4.5% range, which is a little bit higher than it was a couple of years ago, but it's not an extreme place. It's not like 6 or 7%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so we'll see what happens after they don't do a rate cut over the next few days.
I don't think anything is going to happen that they don't do a rate cut.
All right. Here in the city of Woonsocket, last night they had at the Woonsocket City Council meeting. Of course, the big thing going on at the meetings was about homeless shelter and the homeless encampments. And the homeless shelter passed for its second passage that they're going to build one, not build one, they're going to use a building on Cumberland Street to become a homeless shelter. That passed by a vote of 7-0. Once again, that's going to be a 50-bed homeless shelter that they'll run by a company called Open Doors, and that'll get up and running as soon as it possibly can. The other one was, what do we do with the encampments? And the last 2 weeks ago, it passed on a 5-2 vote to make them basically illegal and not be able to pitch your tents on public land. It came up for passage for the second time last night, and one council person changed their vote, but it still passed 4-3. Sharon Harmon changed her mind and voted against it, but it still passed on a 4-3 vote. And boy, there were quite a lot of people who came up during the public hearing part.
Yeah, on both sides of that
on
argument.
both sides. Yeah. And what just amazed me most is the people that wanted to basically keep the encampments going and come up with another idea kept coming up and quoting the Bible and taking different passages that fit their agenda, and like, I didn't realize it was religious education class tonight, but they did, but like Dave said, someone at the end came up with their own Bible passage that put them in favor of this, so it works back and forth.
Yeah, well, it's how people interpret the Bible. Oftentimes, it's that's the thing. The Bible's there, but humans interpret it. And everybody thinks something differently. Yeah. I thought Dan Gendron, they had interviewed him, and I thought he spoke very well about it.
Was it on Channel
12? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the 10 o'clock news. And the thing is, we have homelessness everywhere, and it's a problem everywhere. But, when he spoke up, too, at the end, when they interviewed him, nobody's going to go in there with steamrollers and, get the heck out of here kind of a thing. But, the point he made, and I think it's a valid point, that we feel bad that, these people have no place to go. However, the people that are taxpayers in the city of Woonsocket might want to use those properties, open space or whatever, and enjoy it. And that kind of, all the encampments kind of takes away from that. So, you have to look at both sides of the story there.
And they gave the authority to the mayor, Chris Beauchamp, or whoever will be the mayor going forward, that at their discretion of how to get rid of the encampments.
Well, and he spoke very well, too. Chris did, yes. Nobody's going to go in there, like, with the chainsaw, like Alamut. What's his face there? Elon. Give people the opportunity to pack up their things and go to a shelter. And I think that in good faith, they're going to, rehab that building and have a homeless shelter. I think it's going to hold, what,
50.
50 people. You know, there's probably more than 50, but...
Well, there
that's,
is. And they
you know,
they say there's the new shelter, the Dignity Bus is another 20
yeah.
places to sleep. And there's still another shelter that's on Clinton Street. that can
Yes,
hold
there is.
some
There
more
is. There's a shelter there. So
that's what they're going to go with now. Now that everything passed, it basically becomes law due to charter in 11 days.
right, yeah. So
So-
usually most ordinances have to be passed twice, and
This was
in
the-
most, yeah, and this was the second
The
one,
second time
and
for
so
both.
yeah, that's pretty normal for
Mhm.
ordinances in municipalities. Yeah.
So that's what's going to happen, and we'll see
Yeah.
what happens with the encampments now. Give it another couple of weeks to see what starts happening.
Yeah.
All right, we had a note that was sent to me over the weekend, and we didn't get to it yesterday, but I want to get to it today. The Democratic Party is funded by the wealthy, same as the Republicans. Democratic leaders don't pursue real solutions to our economic problems because they won't bite the hands that feed them. Everyone knows that. Maybe they think that because their billionaires are less nasty than Republican billionaires, it's okay. However, either way you cut it, the rich don't care about us. Trump won because the Dems ran a stay the course, things are basically fine campaign. Things are not fine, and they haven't been for decades. Most of us can't afford rents, mortgages, health care, etc. You agree with that? That the Dems and the Democrats and the Republicans are both run by wealthy people, funded by wealthy people?
That's party politics.
Do you see it that way, Ed?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, elections, national elections like president and things, and even Senate and stuff, they're very expensive to run. And I mean, they have so
You
many
need that
people
money.
working for them,
Mm-hmm.
and so they're not going to get that from the regular person who works 40 hours and gets a paycheck every week. They're not going to get the $1 million contributions and other contributions. Maybe not as big, but big contributions. So the Democrats have like George Soros, who's funding them left and right. He funds all kinds of stuff that
Where's his money come from? What does he own? Soros?
I don't. What is he? Everything.
Everything. Oh, okay. Well, I thought Jeff Bezos owned everything.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what where he made his money.
Okay.
I read it before, and
I
know.
can't remember it either.
yeah,
So.
I don't remember.
Okay, but this has been brought up on Coffee and before, and basically the part where they say the Democrats just ran on stay the course and basically everything's fine, and Trump said no, the economy is tanking, and we brought it up on Coffee and a couple of weeks ago that in 2028 the Democrats are going to have to run on a economic policy that's coming up with something.
Yeah.
As opposed to, don't vote for him because he's or that side because they're the bad guys. Come up with a solution, not necessarily a solution, but come up with an idea.
Yeah.
And they said the last Democrat, I should say, that ran with an economic policy was Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Wow, that was quite
That's
a while
was
ago.
a while ago. Well, I think both parties have lost their way as far as what they were built upon. I think things have changed through the years, and I think that's why you see a lot of people unaffiliated or independents that they don't like the party politics. And
Yeah.
so, but you're absolutely right, though. On the national scene, that's the only way to go. Is to belong to a party.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
that's the only way.
Yeah, the independents don't have a chance.
No.
Oh, right, yeah.
No. No, on the
Lucky
local
to,
level.
lucky to get 5% of the vote.
Right, exactly. On a local level, you can get away with it. I always ran it as an independent, but I think party politics, both sides,
Yeah,
have
I think-
changed dramatically.
but I
since,
also think
yeah.
the voters have changed.
And
Their
absolutely, the voters have changed.
You mean
Absolutely.
You mean their thinking, Ed?
They're thinking, yeah,
thinking,
yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
before people used to be either Democrat or Republican, and
Pull
it didn't really
pull the right lever, right?
Yeah, and pretty
it-
much. Yeah, they pulled the
pull the
lever
right-
and was all straight one or the other.
Straight way.
But but it wasn't nasty.
No,
You know,
no,
now
no.
it's so divisive.
Yeah.
No, and I don't know how it got that way. I mean, it didn't get that way overnight. It's
No.
something that's built up over the years, just
Right.
like the change in the parties have built
Right.
up over the
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
I think the reflection. I think it's a reflection of the voters that have caused the parties to go as they have.
Right. Yeah. Well, you're absolutely right, Ed. Society has changed a
Yeah.
lot
You know what?
through the decades, through the generations. Things have changed a lot.
You know, I think when it started, and I'm going to name a name here, and I'm going to name him because the person has since passed away. Excuse me, but it was Rush Limbaugh, and you gotta go back to the '90s again, and when he was on his national radio show. When Bill Clinton got elected, he kept calling it the raw deal. And he brought in like Charlton Heston, who came in and said, he's not my president. And that's kind of where it started. And because remember, there used to be bumper stickers. Bill Clinton's not my president, when he was president.
Yeah.
Going around. And it was an NRA thing at the time. And that's kind of how it
That's
started,
right. Yeah.
I think. And then just from there, now it's every election. You get more and more divisive.
Yeah. And nasty.
and nasty.
Yeah,
and
you
I
know,
think Rush started it with,
Yeah.
I don't recognize Bill Clinton as my president because I
Yeah,
don't like him.
Wasn't he in the president like in the mid '90s or something? '96 or something like that.
Clinton?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember walking the beach in Aruba with a good friend who has since passed away also, and this is got to be 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to say to him, we're witnessing the destruction of the Americas, of the United States. And I always used to say that, and he'd say, well, why are you saying that? And I said, because the country of the United States, United States has been around for almost 250 years.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and you go back in history and look at the Greeks, and you look at the Romans, and you look at the Ming Dynasty, you look at them all, and none of them last much more than that amount of time.
Yeah.
It's just we get to the point where we're so we expect everything for free.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to work for it, and it gets divisive within the people themselves.
Yeah.
I says, and it just end up with the country falling apart.
Yeah.
And
Quite possible. Well, on that fun note,
yeah,
it's time to take a break here on the Coffee and program. More coming your way, but Ed, time for a second message from the Carew Investment Group.
Okay, thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.
Good morning again, everyone. Ed Carew here of the Carew Investment Group. Our phone number is 765-8880. We've got some simple advice about investing. The truth is, there is no simple advice about investing. The old days of financial uptrends and downtrends lasting for days, weeks, and months, they're all gone. Sometimes trends last for only part of a day before changing direction. And investing's not an activity for those who can't take the time to study each twist and turn for the opportunity that it truly presents. Since 1987, we've seen them all, and we'll invest for you the same way we invest for ourselves, carefully, very carefully. And it won't cost you a nickel to talk about it with us, so give us a call at 765-8880. Our office is conveniently located at 2190 Mendon Road, Suite 3 in Cumberland, Rhode Island. Securities are offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
Thanks, Ed. And the Coffee and program will continue. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240. Transforming your house into a home is what they do at Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center. Kitchen trends for 2025 include big color, open shelving, mixed materials, hardware reimagined, keeping it green, and room to gather. Kevin and his crew at Cumberland Kitchen can show you the latest trends and possibly something you have not thought of. Visit CumberlandKitchen.com or stop into the showroom in the McDonald's Plaza on Mendon Road, Cumberland, just off Route 295. Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center.
Testing, testing.
We're live from Chick-fil-A.
This is Grant.
And this is Laura.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that sweet bun.
And that chicken filet was perfectly crispy and soft at the same time.
And that Smokehouse Barbecue sauce, it's a lot of fun. And the brown sugar bacon definitely had a little bit more pizzazz. Also, the mac, one of the all-time greats. Man, I'm getting hungry.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and a Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Father's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for dads and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
It's the worldwide sound of ON Radio.
Coffee and on ON. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan here with Linda Tebow and Ed Carew. And so, it's here in the Blackstone Valley, but not here in Woonsocket. I guess that's a good thing. But we've had 2 murders in Pawtucket, like within a week. Now, they're not giving out, the police, not giving out much information on this. So they're not saying if the 2 are related. They're probably not. But you don't know yet. But, you know, they have all the good stuff about Pawtucket with the opening of the stadium, the soccer stadium, which went historically well.
Yeah.
But then you got this side of Pawtucket that's going on where, and the latest shooting happened, let's see, Monday afternoon at 2:30 in the afternoon. You know, not some late night skullduggery
Yeah, I saw
going on.
that yellow house, right?
It was on the corner of Arch and Pond Streets,
Yeah.
if you know where that is in Pawtucket.
Yeah.
But then they found a 28 when the police got there to that corner. They found a 28-year-old man and a 25-year-old woman, both with gunshot wounds. Both were taken to the hospital. The man passes away. The woman is expected to be okay. And Pawtucket police are looking for any suspects or anyone with information about this current shooting. And then there's one last week they had, and they haven't arrested anybody on that one yet either. So I don't know what's in the water down there in Pawtucket. So, I don't know. All right. Just a caller calls in, just says to the panel, my inbox, meaning his email inbox, all right? My inbox is filled with emails from the Democratic National Committee begging for money to help them fight Trump's billionaires. Enough. We're talking about the last email. Okay. I don't have that issue.
Nor do I.
Where the Democrats are asking for money. Who asks me for money? The Alzheimer's Association.
Yeah.
Asks for money all the time. Actually, no. I get the ones from the Republican side, and they try to make it look like it's really Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Sending me a personal email.
Oh yeah.
And then at the bottom, it's they butter you up, and they make it look good, and you're a true patriot, and you're one of the good guys, and like this, and then at the bottom, it's like, could you send us $5?
Yeah. I don't get it.
Or more. I was. It's like, no. It's like that. So. Yeah, I get them in emails, and I get them in text messages too. So.
Oh.
So yeah, they cut. I don't get them in regular mail, but
see, I'm not affiliated with either party, so I don't get any of that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just the same.
But you got to watch out for the text messages. I get my wife got a text message yesterday, and it looked like, just judging by the number, because it looks like it came from overseas. Because there's way more numbers in it.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, we reviewed your resume, and we think you'd be a good fit for this part-time or full-time position to work from home." Her resume is not out there on the internet. It's never been out on the internet, so they didn't look at anything.
Yeah.
I said, "No, I think this one's a scam."
Well,
so.
What I get a lot of the emails is still, I keep saying, "Do you know how old I am?" People, RN.
No, they don't.
Yeah. 30,000 bonus sign, come on down,
I would go in, sign on,
we'll
work for a month, quit.
Well, they say, relocate, we'll pay for that, we'll give you housing, we'll give you transportation, and plus a $30,000 sign-on bonus.
Wow.
And I say, people, do you have any clue? They have to know how old I am because...
I don't know. All I see is RN next to your name.
Well, no. Well, they have access to all the license information.
Yeah.
RN license. Yeah. But yeah, I get that a lot from all over.
All right. This is kind of a disturbing story. There is and what's odd about it is that it's a woman. I hate to be sexist, but you usually don't see this with women. But in Exeter, from Exeter, Rhode Island, an Exeter Job Corps mental health counselor, has surrendered her license after a non-professional relationship with a student under the age of 18 has come to light. The Rhode Island Department of Health has suspended Celine Becerra's license in 2023 after receiving complaints about her relationship with the patient.
Wow.
RIDOH says that Becerra has now voluntarily and permanently surrendered her license to avoid an administrative hearing.
Yeah.
So.
It's sad.
Yep. Back to the about the message about getting all the emails. Same caller calls back. Caller says these emails they get to fund the Democratic National Committee, they're coming from Gabe Amelo and David Cicilline.
David Cicilline, he's not even in.
I know he's not a
he's
rep
not
anymore.
Even there anymore. Wow.
But he's probably part of the Democratic National Committee, though.
Yeah, he probably
still
still
be part
is.
of that.
Yeah,
So.
he probably still is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you see where Trump threw David Cicilline off the Holocaust thing in Washington D.C.?
Did he? No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was last week.
Oh.
And so whatever committee that is, Trump said no, you're going. Mostly because it's politics. It's he's
everything's politics.
Cicilline ran one of the charge to get Trump not indicted. What's the thing we do with presidents when we don't like them?
Impeach.
Thank you.
Yeah, he did.
He led the charge to impeachment once or twice. So he's like, no, okay, I'm the boss and you're gone off that committee.
Yeah, wow.
So, okay. All right. Any thoughts on it could be one of those things where Trump is saying, please look over here while I do this stuff over here. But he came out yesterday, the day before, and said, let's reopen Alcatraz and make it a real prison again.
Yeah.
I go, but how much money is it making as a tourist attraction?
It is.
It's a museum and a tourist attraction
Plus
right now.
to rehab it, to do anything would cost a lot of money, I'm sure.
He wants to rehab it and expand it. Well, it's an island. It's a small island. What are we?
Floats around.
Let's just dredge the bay.
Right.
Well, I guess you could go up. You really can't go out too much.
Well, a lot of those old things you can't go up because the foundation's not that secure anymore, especially on an island, right?
They close it down.
Well, that's it. It's falling
apart.
Yeah.
So I don't know how this could be such a good idea.
Yeah.
Unless, is there another island they could use and build a new?
I don't know.
And we'll just call it Alcatraz 2.
He's going to go after Block Island next. Watch out.
Better watch out.
Well, I think the latest thing, that he doesn't want Veterans Day anymore. He wants to go back to the end of World War One, which we used to call Armistice Day. Remember that?
Yeah,
those
I remember
days?
that. Yeah.
And then they call
But it's the same day, though, isn't it?
Armistice Day
Isn't
is
that
now
November?
Veterans Day.
But it's November 11th.
It's November 11th, but he
but
wants to
Change the name.
change the name of Veterans Day.
Okay, to Armistice
Not
Day.
going over well with the veterans. I
No,
think they're
probably
lobbying
not.
against that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we just keep the holiday. We just change the name.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Gulf of America and Gulf of Mexico.
Well, kind
The
of like
water
that. He
stays the
likes
same.
renaming things. Yeah.
so-
Yeah.
Like Indigenous People Day.
Right.
That's
Back to
right. That's
Christopher
Columbus.
Columbus.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Okay. So he wants you to, focus on this while I'm.
Well, I do that.
Well, I'm going to do
Yeah,
something else over
yeah.
here, and maybe we'll have less people noticing. I don't know. And the other one is and now Linda wasn't happy with this. It's the picture of Trump as the Pope.
Uh-huh.
Now I laughed at it, Linda,
Well, I'm sorry.
because obviously he cannot be the Pope.
Well, no, I know he can't, but
So it's all a-
like
it's all
an
a joke.
affront. It's an affront to
Okay.
the Pope, and I think that's how the College of Cardinals felt. He's like mocking them.
Okay.
You don't do. You're
He's
the
gotta-
president of the United States. Dear God, have
He's got a
respect for something.
I think he just has a very bizarre sense of humor. He says, I find this funny. And he's going to put it out there. And it also could be another, look at me dressed as the Pope over here, and I'm going to go do something else over here.
Well,
The right hand and the left hand are completely separate. And a lot of Catholics are.
I thought it was
they
offensive. I thought it
found
was
offensive.
absolutely offensive.
Ed, did you?
Master of misdirection.
Yes, he'd make a very good magician. Did you see the picture, Ed, of the of him dressed as the Pope?
Yeah.
Okay. Any initial thoughts when you saw it?
I thought he was crazy.
Well, you've always thought that, right? All right.
The only good thing it hid his hair. Just the whole thing was absolutely outrageous. It was like something a 10-year-old would do, not a grown-up man that's president of the United States. All right, there you go.
The good news is I heard he has said that he does not plan to run for president in 2028.
Yay.
At least that's what he said last week.
Wait a minute.
Well, we'll see what happens next week, Yeah,
right. Wait a minute, huh?
All right, break time here on the Coffee and program, and more coming your way. And time for the weather forecast, right now being brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance.
Showers and possibly a thunderstorm are 80% likely today. Some storms could produce heavy rainfall, patchy dense fog, high of 66 degrees and a breeze from the southeast. Tonight, showers and possibly a thunderstorm before 1 a.m., then lightening up a bit, overnight low of 55, breeze from the south, 80% chance of another quarter of an inch of rain possible overnight. Wednesday's weather, cloudy skies gradually becoming mostly sunny with a high of 69. Thursday, sunshine and 72. Friday, 70% chance of showers, mostly cloudy skies, high of 55. Saturday, back to the sunshine and 66. Mother's Day, mostly sunny with a high of 74. And on Monday, sunshine and 73.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, we've got the sunny skies. You get some fog out there as well, and a temperature reading of 56 degrees. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Information at positivecoach.org. Car accidents are the worst, but they do happen. And if it happens to you, then you need to get that vehicle to Cody's Auto Body of North Smithfield. Since 1969, Mike and the staff of Cody's Auto Body has been your collision repair specialist. And after the repair is done, Cody's will finish the job with expert auto painting to match the rest of your car. So if the worst happens, bring your car to Cody's Auto Body across the street from the North Smithfield Fire Station on St. Paul Street, North Smithfield.
Ever order a pizza that turned out to be not quite what you expected? Order from Ollie's Pizzeria in Woonsocket and taste the difference local love can make. Not only do Sam and Tina live in, work in, and love Woonsocket, they know exactly what it takes to make you the perfect pizza. That's because they have been making pizzas since the 1970s. Sam and Tina have made and served over 2 million pizzas with their combined experience, so they know what it takes to make the perfect pizza pie. Taste the local love that has customers coming back for more and more at Ollie's Pizzeria, 204 South Main Street, on the corner of South Main Street and Front Street in Woonsocket. Ollie's.
Hey, it's Cruisin' Bruce from ON Radio. And what are people saying about my Saturday block party every weekend? Well, let's ask.
Hey, Bruce, big fans, Bobby and Jane. We try to call as much as possible from Cumberland.
I think you're wonderful. I love you. You're awesome.
God bless you. I really enjoy the show.
Hey, Bruce, this is Wendy. Thank you for all your great music.
You have a wonderful evening, and again, enjoying the show.
Hey, thank you very much. Make it a point to join me every Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. on the one and only ON Radio.
Really make our weekends. I love it.
You're a legend.
Well, let's not go overboard.
Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Ed Carew and Linda Tebow. And I'm happy about this because the story's been going on for a couple of days, and because it was out there that TF Green Airport was thinking about kicking out the TSA and bringing in a private security organization.
Yeah.
And when I first heard about it, I was like, I didn't even know that was an option.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
TSA is here at every airport.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could go to somebody else. Apparently you can. And but you'd have to go to a TSA approved security organization. So they'll keep doing what they do, at least up to their standards. And but now the whole thing has been dropped.
Good.
By the airport. The petition filed late last month could have shifted it, but airport officials said Transportation Security Administration has improved the wait times at all the checkpoints, which is what they were most concerned about, that it was taking too long. to get through the TSA checkpoint.
Yeah.
Now, I don't fly that often, but when I do, and I've gone to TF Green, I haven't thought the lines were
Yeah.
that terrible.
Well, plus I like to say, take as much time as you want to make sure everybody, that's kind of a big deal. That's a very big deal.
Well, yeah.
Making sure everybody is safe when you're on that airplane. So I say, I'll wait to take off my shoes and go through the thing and do your job.
Mm-hmm. Ed, this is a good thing to, just keep it the TSA and not privatize it?
There's some private companies that do this.
At other airports?
Yeah. There's some that
Yeah?
do it at airports that are at TSA already. It's just another way of getting you to checking you out, checking out your information and stuff like that. I think one of them is called Clear.
Okay.
CLEAR. It might be another word after it, but there's at least a couple of them that I've heard of that do this.
See, Ed gets out a lot more than I do, Linda. I've never heard of this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And are they there checking you, with the X-rays and your luggage?
I don't know. I
and things
never
like
used
that?
them, but I know you have to apply. Just like you know,
You do.
like if you want to go TSA pre-check.
Oh, so you can be, yeah, there is that. That's
so
been
okay,
around,
okay.
yeah.
Apply for this other thing through Clear, whatever it is,
Yeah.
or
Be checked
do
before you
another
get
one.
to the, yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
already pre-checked out.
Pre-checked before you go, yeah. Yeah, I've heard of that. Not when I was traveling, but I've heard of that, yeah.
And now it looks like, from what I've heard from other people, so many people do the TSA pre-check
Yeah.
that the line at the TSA pre-check is longer than
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
regular line now.
Yeah. Now, when
cool.
Dave travels, when my husband travels, he's pre-checked.
Yeah.
Because he has the military thing and all that. They get to the airport and they're already checked. They just go through.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
Jane and I have
Yeah,
TSA
you
pre-check,
check.
but we can only use it in the United States.
Yeah.
It doesn't work coming back.
the other way, right? Yeah. Well,
we'd
this
have
was
to have global entry.
right. This was, this was within
Yeah.
travel within the
Yeah.
country. Yeah.
But if you're flying out of the country and you're leaving from an American airport,
Yeah.
TSA works. Pre-check still works.
Works good.
Okay.
Yeah, what I like about it is you don't have to remove your shoes, your belt,
Right,
your
yeah.
coat, all
Yeah,
this kind of
everything. Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Take out your laptop and your phone.
Do you,
and,
do you still have to empty your pockets?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, when they see it, they say, okay, you go that way. And it's
Yeah.
a quicker way.
Well, you'll get your own line.
Your own line.
Yeah,
That's all right.
yeah,
Your own
and
line.
you-
Go in that line. Yeah.
Or usually on JetBlue anyway. I don't know about the other airlines because I normally fly JetBlue. It says TSA pre-check right
yeah.
on your ticket on
Yeah.
your
On your boarding pass?
on
on
your
your
boarding
thing,
pass.
boarding pass,
So
yeah.
when you
Go.
walk over there,
Yeah.
you show the guy, and he
That's
says,
right,
"Oh,
your phone.
go that
yeah.
way."
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I tried to go through the TSA pre-check one time because I was in St. Louis and there was nobody there.
Yeah.
There was nobody there for the TSA pre-check, and there was nobody there for the regular check-in. So it was a slightly shorter walk to the pre-check, and they looked at it and said, "You can't come through here. You have to go over there." I said, "But nobody's here." Sorry.
Yeah.
You-
Well, because they
Fine.
gather information ahead of time on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
So So you've been pre-checked.
All right.
Right.
All right. Tomorrow's the big day. The real ID goes into effect.
I know.
I haven't heard. There's been no talk on the federal level about moving this date out.
No.
Everything kept saying, "Nope, we're sticking to it this time. May 7th is tomorrow,
Yeah.
and you must have a real ID to fly or to go to federal
buildings. But why are people surprised that tomorrow's the
They've been talking about this for years.
For
At
years
least
we've been
5
doing
years.
this, and
Yeah.
now
I've got my second license.
Yeah,
with
me
the,
too.
with
Me
the
too.
star
Me
on
too.
it.
The stars
It's
are.
like, and it's like 5 or 6 years.
And they said,
your license is good
yeah.
for.
Yeah.
Yeah, you say, where have they been? Under a rock? That this is not new news.
No, it isn't. And I don't know why people are surprised.
That's why, when you see it on TV, well, there's the big waiting lines. And
Yes. Because people always wait to the last minute.
I know, but this is really, this is what,
Last
5 years?
Yes.
Because it was
It's more.
pre-COVID. It was pre-COVID,
It's more,
right?
it's got
Yes.
to be more than that.
Yeah.
It has to be,
I
yeah.
mean, so it's not breaking news that,
Oh no.
hurry up and get this done. Wow.
But if you're a person that just goes, well, I never fly, and I never go to federal buildings, so why should I bother? And then next thing you know, emergency flight comes up, and now you're stuck.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't cost any more to get
It
TSA
doesn't.
to
Oh,
get
no, it
the,
doesn't.
No, it
the
doesn't.
real ID. So if your license comes up, go
Do
have
it
it
right
done.
away.
have it done, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you'll see, I'm sure it'll be the big crush will be today, especially if someone's flying tomorrow.
Oh, there's a problem with some of them. Some of the state licenses are not being picked up by the TSA instruments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're looking at it. Sometimes they're asking for another form of ID. Driver's license. You got a credit card. You got anything
something.
else that shows who you are? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's not picking it up.
Wow. All right. Well, tomorrow's the day. If you haven't got yours, and I really, if you don't have to fly soon, all right, and you don't have one, all right, I would wait like probably to the end of the month because
But
there's
people
going to be a
don't-
mad rush like right now.
But people don't realize federal buildings.
Yes.
Federal buildings. There are lots of
Mostly
buildings. that-
like courthouses.
Courthouses.
But the post office is
Post
a federal,
office is a federal building.
But you can walk in and do business at the post office. No one's gonna. I don't think anyone's gonna stop you at the door.
And then, or like, but some of those other, like unemployment, that's
Yeah, that's federal too.
federal, Social Security offices. Those are federal
Yeah.
buildings.
Well,
I
okay.
think people don't realize.
Unemployment is state, but
Right,
it
but
would probably still. But Social Security.
Social
is
Security, yeah, that's federal. Yeah.
Oh, you'd be happy to know, Ed.
Federal. I am.
Yeah.
I will.
Speaking
Okay.
of Social Security,
Yes.
It took
You
me a
filed?
long time. I filed. No, it took me a long time because it was Ed Carew and Barry Mechanic. This goes back a long time now.
I guess so.
That says, "What are you doing, carrying your Social Security card in your wallet?"
Yeah, don't do that.
I said, all I can remember back when I started driving, I thought you were told carry it with you because you might need it, and so I just always did.
Yeah.
And of course, over time, now I got it when I was 16. You should have seen it.
Yeah.
I've cut it up now. Ratty. It was brown basically for being
Yeah.
in my wallet
Yeah.
all this time, and I always took it out real slow because I didn't.
'Cause
have-
it could
I didn't
fall
wanna- I
apart.
think it was going to fall apart. And I said, it really is time to get a new one. And so I did go to Social Security, and it didn't cost me anything, which is great. And I said, please send me a new one. It takes them like a week. You fill out the little form, and they send it to you in a week. But there's stipulations. You can only get a new one 3 times in a year. I'm gonna get this wrong. I can't remember the time, but it's like 3 times in a year, and only like twice in your life. Nope, that's wrong.
That's wrong.
There's a limit on how many times you can get
Really?
your replace your Social Security card.
Oh.
So it's like let's go with like 2 times a year, but only like 3 times in your lifetime you can do this. And then because that was on a little piece of paper I got, I'm like, well, what happens after that? Do you have to get like a new card, a new number?
Oh, I
You get sent to the prison in El
Oh,
Salvador.
You do,
So-
okay. But
Alcatraz.
I'm doing the right thing. My Social Security card is not in my wallet, Ed.
Good.
It's at home.
Yeah,
It's
in a safe place. In
I
a
know.
safe place.
Mine and my wife's, I know
Yeah.
exactly where they
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Okay, everything's good.
Yeah.
And you
I-
can read it now, so that's good.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good. I mean, I don't know what yours said, but right on mine, I mean, it's so old. I mean, I'm 76, so it says not to be used for identification.
Right.
They don't say that
I
anymore.
don't think it says that. Yeah.
It
No.
doesn't?
I'd have to look on the back to see if it
I
says
don't
that.
know. Yeah.
Because you could. But if you show that and a license, it's got both your names on it. So why can't you use it
Yeah,
as
but
identification?
Use your
I don't know.
AAA card
There was
instead.
back
You
then,
know?
back then they said not to be
No.
used as identification.
No, yeah,
All right.
and I remember because the kids got them early on, my
Yeah.
kids, and so I kept them for them. And then when they got to be big people, here's your,
Here your card.
Social
Here-
Security card.
Don't put it in your wallet.
Don't
right?
put it in your wallet.
All right, we had another situation that people like to go hiking up in the mountains, up in the White Mountains, and it's a lot colder up there. And 39-year-old Woonsocket man, we don't have a name, but a 39-year-old Woonsocket man had to be rescued. He was on the Shikamachuck Trail on the Garfield Ridge in Franconia, New Hampshire. He admitted he was unprepared and he had to shelter under a tent until rescuers could reach him at like 4 in the morning on a day last week. Now the Fish and Game people up there in New Hampshire said, we're going to fine him for the rescue. Doesn't say how much they're going to fine him, but I'm sure it's pretty significant.
Yeah. Well, I think I remember out in Washington State, my uncle lived there, and they were always rescuing people, and they started charging them.
Charging them,
Yeah,
know how much they were
man,
charging?
well, it was a good amount.
Like
I don't remember.
thousands?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, when you deploy those first responders, those rescue people.
Well, they usually set up at least a helicopter, and that's going to
Yeah,
cost money.
yeah.
You know,
You
flying them in
know?
the right area. So okay,
Yeah.
but that happened to a Woonsocket man. We don't
Yeah.
have a name, but all right, you never know. Well, all right, let's take a break here on the Coffee and program, but more coming your way. Thanks for tuning in to ON Radio. If you have comments or questions, can be called in at 766-1240.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Hi, it's me, your USPS Ground Advantage shipment. Just left the warehouse and hitting the road.
I know. Just got the notification.
Great. Smooth sailing so far. I'm almost there.
Yes, I know. I get all the updates.
Made it. Safe and sound.
I know.
Well, did you know I was with USPS the whole time?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Keep your business in the know with the USPS Ground Advantage service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
Hey, it's Cruisin' Bruce from ON Radio. And what are people saying about my Saturday block party every weekend? Well, let's ask.
Hey, Bruce, big fans, Bobby and Jane. We try to call as much as possible from Cumberland.
I think you're wonderful. I love you. You're awesome.
God bless you. I really enjoy the show.
Hey, Bruce, this is Wendy. Thank you for all your great music.
You have a wonderful evening, and again, enjoying the show.
Hey, thank you very much. Make it a point to join me every Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. on the one and only ON Radio.
Really make our weekends. I love it.
You're a legend.
Well, let's not go overboard.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
Thanks for joining us on the Coffee and program. I'm Joe Callahan here with Ed Carew and Linda Tebow, and you got to celebrate today, Linda. You know why?
Why?
It's National Nurses Day.
Yes, it is.
Congratulations.
I forgot about that.
You're
Thank
celebrating along. It's also National Teacher Appreciation Day.
Well, that's
you,
good.
You get to share it, okay? And this is National Nurses Week.
It is the
as
whole
well.
week. They finally gave us a whole week. Yes. Yeah.
The weekend's May 12th on the birthday of the late Florence Nightingale.
Florence
You may
Nightingale.
have heard of her,
Yeah.
who was widely recognized as the founder of modern nursing. So.
Yeah. In my day, when we graduated, we got the lamp. They gave us a lamp.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, with a candle in it. Yeah, we did.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
Would she carry one around? Was that
Well,
a symbol?
it's a symbol of Florence Nightingale. Yeah,
Okay.
the lamp, because they didn't have electricity in, those,
in those days.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yesterday, Ed, in the Karen Reed trial,
Yeah.
we had another person say, I think her name was Kate McLaughlin, said, I heard her say I hit him
Three times. Yes. Yeah.
However, the defense pointed out, well, how come you heard it, but the cop that was standing right next to you didn't hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said. I heard the attorney say if you said that and the cop was there, she would have been arrested on the spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
You
they
know,
say
because she would have been admitting to the crime.
the crime.
Yeah.
They also pointed out, or the defense pointed out, that the McLaughlin that was on the stand is the girlfriend of one of the cops that owned the house.
Mm-hmm.
So they think she's part of the cover-up.
Yeah.
So
Conspiracy.
conspiracy. That's right. That's right. That's exactly what's going on. I'm like, wow. So the trial continues on.
Yeah.
And did you see back in Rhode Island about our guy down there in North Kingstown with the naked fat test?
Yeah.
Had a couple of ex-students come out in favor of him.
I saw that. I saw
like,
that.
Wow.
Wow, a couple.
And they were praising him and saying, oh,
Right.
he helped me get better and helped me get into shape
Yeah.
and helped me so I could go and play
Yeah.
sports, and I did better. And oh, yeah, this is a great man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, but 2 out of how many?
Well, I think
Yeah.
the defense, or not the
Oh,
defense.
the defense is gonna. Yeah.
The prosecutor,
The
has
prosecutor.
like
yeah.
15
yeah. Yeah.
against.
Yeah.
And the defense brought out these 2, but he took the stand in his own defense.
He did. I think he might. I think as the prosecutor gets gets a chance to talk to him, it might be a whole different story.
Mm-hmm.
Thought it was interesting, though, that they were asking him, have you been certified in this test? And all of those kinds of questions that I was bringing up. A doctor's supposed to do those tests.
Was it all no?
Huh?
Did he say no?
Yeah,
no. I'm not certified
Yeah,
at all?
no, exactly.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
no.
they did bring up that those tests should be performed by a doctor,
of which you are not.
You are
right?
not, yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Other things going on around the country that are interesting. An Illinois man, he's going to prison. He's been convicted. You don't hear too much about this. Been convicted of counterfeiting money for a second time. It worked so well the first time.
He's getting really good at it.
I'm getting better at it. That's right. That's right. Jacob Kirkley was sentenced to 5.5 years in federal prison. It is a federal crime. After a jury found him guilty of counterfeiting U.S. currency and selling and possessing counterfeit currency in December. Prosecutors say Kirkley sold an undercover officer with the Illinois State Police thousands of dollars in counterfeited U.S. currency multiple times. He was previously convicted of counterfeiting in 2022 and sentenced to 27 months in federal prison.
Wow.
So a little over 2 years first time around. Now we're going to double it. 5 years for doing counterfeiting.
Yeah, you had 27 months to perfect the system.
Well, you had a lot of time.
Not quite there yet.
A lot of time to study. What kind of. Well, you actually don't use paper. It's some kind of fiber of some sort that they actually.
Cloth.
We call it paper money, but it really isn't paper.
No.
It's like cloth.
There's a cloth fiber in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you ever leave money in a pocket and wash it.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't fall apart.
It doesn't fall apart.
Gets a little crinkly.
Yeah, you gotta smooth it out afterwards. But yeah, you don't hear too much about
No,
people,
you're
people
right. We don't hear
counterfeiting.
much about Yeah. Well, because that's a skill.
It must be.
Those people that get away with it or whatever, I think they.
All right.
Highly skilled people.
Yeah, you bring a $20 bill or like a $50 bill or a $100 bill.
Yeah.
Stores will still check it to see if it's counterfeit or not. So okay. Tomorrow is a national celebration promoting active transportation with traffic safety. Takes place this week. Wednesday is Walk, Bike, Roll to School Day. All right. Students are encouraged to start their day with physical activity while raising awareness about safe routes to school for pedestrians and cyclists. So you might see a little more people out on the roads tomorrow on bicycles or rollerblades or something like that. So just something to be aware of. So, all right. Let's see. What else going on? Not only do you have the breakout of measles in Texas.
Big time, yeah.
The CDC is now announcing a multi-state outbreak of salmonella, including backyard poultry in 6 states. 7 people have reportedly gotten sick from contact with infected ducks or chickens. CDC health experts are offering tips for reducing risk of salmonella, saying wash your hands for 20 seconds after touching birds, their supplies, or collecting eggs. They also recommend using a pair of dedicated boots or shoes for your chicken coop and then take them off before entering your house. That's a good idea. Salmonella symptoms include fever, diarrhea, stomach cramps, 6 hours to 6 days after being exposed.
Yeah.
Wow. Not a fun disease, huh?
No, especially, little ones and older folks are highly susceptible, because they're immunosuppressed, and when they get it, it doesn't bode well, end well.
All right. Up in Boston, Tristan Casas obviously has Trevor Story disease. Plays for a little while, hurt.
Yeah.
Happened last year, played for a little while. Something happened in his rib cage.
Yeah.
Pulled muscle of some sort, out for a few months. Now he's out for the year. Did you see what happened to him?
Right. No, I didn't see.
see
All
it?
of a
Did you see
sudden
it
he was
happening?
out.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
He was running. He had a check swing, and then he had to run up the first base line.
Yeah.
And pitcher picked it up and threw it to first base. It was a close play, but he was out. And he landed hard with his right foot on the base, but his left foot kicked the first baseman's foot as he was crossing. And then he fell right over and didn't move. And they came rushing out, and he didn't try to get up or anything like that. And then they called out for a stretcher and took him out right away. And 2 days ago, they annoued 2 days ago he had surgery. He had a ruptured tendon in his left knee.
Wow.
I'm like, yikes.
Yeah.
And from what they keep saying, well, first of all, he's lying in a hospital bed. You know,
He's
his
gonna
leg
be
up.
out for the season.
He's out. Well, they've already announced out for the season, and then they're saying rehab takes a year.
Yeah.
We're not going to see this guy until the
No,
All-Star break
no.
of next year.
Next year, yes. Knees.
If he
are
comes
tough.
back.
Yeah. If he. Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this
Yeah.
is a really tough break.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look. I'm like, oh, it looked like when you first see it.
Yeah.
It looked like he tripped like on a rock or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what's the big deal?
Didn't look like anything.
It looked like
Yeah.
nothing.
No. See, I missed that.
I go,
Yeah.
and I go, well, he either maybe he broke a leg when he did it, or I thought at first of all an ACL tear, like running backs get in football.
But a tendon though.
I didn't think tendon, but I'm like, but he must have either obviously felt something, and maybe he heard something that the public can't hear because it's just not loud enough. But him just laying on his back, not moving.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he's out for the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And he is.
Yeah.
And it's a tough break because he's still so young.
Well, he
still
is.
has so much potential.
Yeah.
And
Because didn't he hit a home run? Was it? Didn't he?
he got off to a very slow start this year.
Very slow. He did.
He
He
batted
did.
like 162
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that. But he was, as usual, a lot of players start
Yeah.
off really slow in
Yeah.
April and early May, and he did. But he had hit a couple of home runs, and
Yeah, he did.
But,
Yeah, he did.
but he's done. So
Oh, that's too bad.
it is. I feel
Did you
I feel
see
bad for him.
Roger Clemens' son?
Saw him
The
hit the home
Minnesota
run.
hit the home run, huh?
And I saw a proud dad.
Oh, I know, I know.
At the
And
ballpark, jumping up and down.
Yeah, my father, God rest his soul, got to go to Fenway and watch Roger Clemens pitch. He was a happy man. He died a happy man because he got to see that one. And when I saw that, I said, "Oh my gosh, his son! Wow."
See, your father's lucky.
Yeah.
I was able to go to one game at Fenway, and Roger Clemens was scheduled to pitch. He was coming off some kind of injury, and said, "Okay, he looks like he's good to go, and it'll probably be a game time decision." And we were there early. Roger was going to pitch, and he came out to the mound in the first inning to throw. I think he threw maybe 4 pitches, walked off.
Oh no!
And they called in somebody else from the bullpen. It was
Really?
like he was not
yeah.
ready. I don't know if it was his arm or his leg or
Something,
what was going
yeah.
on, but I never saw
You
him
never
pitch.
got to see him. No, Dad got to
Never
see him pitch.
saw
and
him
It was a
pitch.
Father's Day thing,
Yeah.
and they took him and he was so happy that, and what he loved Louis Tiante.
Tian was
Louis
great.
Tiante
Louis
was
was awesome.
his guy.
What a character.
Yeah. Actually, we got to meet him. He
Louis?
was, Louis. When my grandson was playing Little League, they live in Southborough, and he lives in. And he came to the opening day of their Little League.
Wow.
And we got a picture
Nice
of
of him.
Michael with, of course, Michael's like he was 7 years old.
Who is it?
Who is
this
this
guy?
man? I said, listen, your great grandfather would be happy that you're there with him.
Yeah.
But he was very nice, very pleasant, sociable.
Very
yeah.
good. Well,
Yeah.
that's super. All right. Well, Trump just keeps making noise. President Trump says the American film industry has been decimated by other countries. All right. While speaking at the White House, he addressed his Truth Social post that called for a 100% tariff on films produced outside of the United States. In his post, Trump cited non-specific national security threats and said, "We want movies made in America again. Intellectual property like films cannot have tariffs placed on them, but implementing trade barriers like laws and film tax credits could happen." And I know, all those, are you a big Hallmark, Christmas Hallmark movie person?
Yeah.
Most of those are made in Canada.
Are they
Because
really?
it's cheaper.
Okay.
That's why they go up there to
Okay.
film it. So,
Yeah.
and now it might not be. So,
Wow.
and so and they make films in other countries, of course.
Well, of
and
course
not
they
just
do.
Hollywood,
Of course
so
they do.
If they're going
Yeah.
to send something over, he wants to put a tax on it. Which means it would cost you more money to go see it at the theater. How come every other movie is $10, but this one's $10.50? Well, blame Trump. I think that's how that will work. So
So I said,
we'll see if that one goes through or not. So
wait a
okay.
minute. That's all. Wait a minute.
Oh, we're going to look at someone else. Let's see.
Yeah.
Jimmy Page is being sued.
Yeah.
My goodness. Songwriter, a songwriter suing Led Zeppelin guitarist Jimmy Page for allegedly violating his rights over the song Dazed and Confused. According to the complaint, Jake Holmes said Page and Warner Chappell broke a settlement agreement by releasing new early live recordings of the song, featuring it in the Sony Pictures documentary Beyond Led Zeppelin, without paying or crediting him. Holmes is requesting damages of at least $150,000. All right. I think Jimmy's got that money. All those royalties from his Led Zeppelin days.
You think?
I think he's got it. I think he's okay.
We shouldn't worry about him then.
I'm
All
not
right,
worried about
okay,
Jimmy Page.
okay.
Nope. All right. We
I
got
was worried there.
Thanks for listening in. Always appreciate it. Ed Carew, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for inviting me.
All right. Linda Tebow, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
All right. I'm Joe Callahan. Have a great day. We'll talk again this afternoon at 2 o'clock. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember us coming up after the 9 o'clock news?
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOO.